Hello and welcome to the Next Day Movie Dive, and today we'll be diving into my top 5 favorite Ben Affleck films. Ben Affleck has been a well-known writer, director, and actor. He's been around, I feel like, for the entirety of my whole life. And coming out April 5th is his newly directed Air, which stars himself, Ben Affleck, and Matt Damon. I feel like these two have been working together for at least 25, 30 years, and they're longtime good friends coming from the same area. And because of this, I will be doing a top 5 on each of them, one on Ben Affleck, one on Matt Damon. And in this video, we're going to be taking a look at my top 5 favorite Ben Affleck films. To be honest, Ben Affleck, to me, I just never thought he was an actor that I took too seriously growing up. But then he started making some films that I thought were top notch, and some of them are leading out to be classics nowadays. And it might be a nostalgic factor, but he has some films that have turned out to be some guilty pleasures that you can throw on at any time. And just a heads up, I'll only be doing films that Ben Affleck was one of the leads in. I'm not going to do anything that he made a cameo in or had a small role in. And there will be spoilers. So if you haven't seen any of these films and it's going to bother you that you haven't watched a movie that came out 20 years ago, I'm going to be spoiling it. Now that we got that out of the way, let's get into my favorite Ben Affleck films of all time. Many of you might have guessed it, but yes, at number 5 is Pearl Harbor, the Michael Bay directed 2001 film. And guys, this movie is 3 hours and 4 minutes long. Did it need to be? Not at all. If you have somehow not seen the Michael Bay classic, I recommend you open it up and maybe skip to about an hour and a half into the film, and you wouldn't have missed anything. For the first hour and a half of this film, it's like some love triangle. Ben Affleck leaves to go to war. He somehow dies, but then somehow comes back because of his love for his girlfriend. But Josh Hartnett is back at home, who was his best friend, and he falls in love with the girl once Ben Affleck leaves. And when he comes back, there's this, all this stuff going on. And in the midst of all that, when they're having this fight, Pearl Harbor happens. It is actually incredible action. Everything looks pretty real. Still to this day when I watch it, there's some one-liners in this movie that just completely make you roll your eyes.
But it's very, very good bullshit.
Thank you, sir.
So maybe if it came out today, I just wouldn't be able to stand it. But however, since it came out in 2001, since I grew up with it, it is a nostalgic film for me. And because of that, I put it as my number 5. Now, at number 4, kind of the same thing. And coming in at number 4, we have the masterpiece, Armageddon. Yes, we are back into the Michael Bay world. This one came out 3 years before Pearl Harbor in 1998, also starring Ben Affleck. But alongside Ben Affleck, we had Liv Taylor, Bruce Willis, Steve Buscemi, Billy Bob Thornton, Owen Wilson. If that's not a stacked cast, I don't know what is. All the scenes at the beginning of the movie when the asteroids are coming down and crashing into buildings, me as a kid, I just ate that stuff up. Whether you hate Armageddon or love it, there's one thing you cannot deny: when Bruce Willis decides to sacrifice himself for all of humanity. Now, after number 4 and number 5 were guilty pleasures of mine, now it's time to get serious at number 3. All right, now we're getting to the real. At number 3, we've got The Town. This is directed by Ben Affleck back in 2010. Alongside Ben Affleck, we had Jeremy Renner, we had Rebecca Hall, Blake Lively, and we had Pete Postlethwaite, I believe is how you say his name. Ben Affleck wrote this movie alongside Peter Craig, which is a very talented writer as well, and they really made sure to bring that Boston crime world to life. The ending of the movie is absolutely fantastic, had a great climax. The good thing about this film is it really shows Ben Affleck's potential as an actor. I believe him playing this role inside of Boston just really brought the best out of him. A few years after The Town came out, he was cast as the Batman, and people absolutely lost their minds. And because of that, I do believe he was the perfect fit for my number 2. Coming in, guys, at number 2 is Gone Girl. This one is directed by David Fincher. I remember when the trailer came out for this film being a little unsure about it. David Fincher was one of my favorite directors at the time. He had Seven, he had Fight Club, he had Zodiac, just a bunch of incredible crime movies. And then Gone Girl just looked different. I think Ben Affleck was perfectly cast for this role because at the time he was getting a bunch of hate for being cast as the Batman. And this movie shows what media can do to a person. As the movie goes on, it just shows the bad, I feel like, in both sides of a toxic relationship. And at this time, when this came out and I finally saw it, I was like, damn, David Fincher can do no wrong. I had a lot of trouble debating if this is my number 2 or number 1 film, but since Ben Affleck did direct this next film, I had to put it at the number 1 slot. And coming in at number 1, the Ben Affleck self-directed Argo. It seemed to me that every single character was just put into this film with so much detail. Not only did Ben Affleck do an incredible job with the intensity of this film, there's also some great comedy in it. It has one of my favorite lines in it, in Argo, "Fuck yourself." And the last 30 minutes or so of this film just has you white knuckling absolutely the whole time. And this movie just brings to life a very creative way of how some people escaped a very bad situation. Thank you guys for watching the video. Please don't forget to subscribe by clicking that button below. You can also leave a comment, good or bad. I'll enjoy it anyway. Until next time on the Next Day Movie Dive.